Well, hello and welcome to another episode of, what is this? Gotham Sound TV under quarantine. I am here talking with Philippe Chavannet of Cinela. Hello, Philippe. It's great to see you.
Hello, Peter. That's very, very nice to see you also. We met a few years ago in NAB or something.
Yeah. I have to say, I just learned something, which Cinela stands for something. Cinela is an acronym of sorts. Can you explain what it stands for?
Oh, just the basic is cinema, just to be in front of this industry, which I come from as a boom operator. So cinema, and then electronic and acoustic. So we can manage all these things, cinema, electronic, acoustics. That makes Cinela.
Amazing. And it's really true that all your products address all of those things, which is really quite incredible.
Yeah, specifically cinema and acoustics, vibration, of course, but sometimes we can integrate electronic or to be really close to electronic things.
Yeah. Before we get into products and stuff, how are you?
Well, we are quite well. You know, we are quite in a bunker here.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very nice brand new building with just our flat, personal flat, and just under it, the workshop. So we are working on the workshop very safely. That's great all around. I mean, it's the situation is difficult. Always here, we know the situation in New York and all these big places, but we are really safe in here.
I'm very, very glad to hear that. Where in France are you?
Oh, just in about 10 kilometers from Paris.
Uh-huh. And you're going back and forth between home and your shop. Your workshop looks awesome, by the way, from what we can see of it.
No, you will have a tour in a few minutes.
Oh, this is great. All right, I'm so excited. All right. Yeah, it's. I mean, it's definitely strange times. I bike from the highest density of COVID cases in New York, zip code wise, postal code wise, to the highest density second highest density in Queens here. And you bike with a mask.
We have made plenty of masks here for people and for people around, so that's, we use our machines to make masks. Not thousands, but, quite a lot for the surroundings.
So great. That's so good. Show us, let's get into some products. Show us, do you have anything to show? Normally this is NAB time, right? So we'd be deep in the midst of product showing. It seems almost, it's hard to fully put our hearts in it, or my heart anyways, but I'm curious to see what you have.
Of course. No, I mean, the last year has been very intense in production, incredibly intense. So we had no real time to improve things and to make real new things. In wind protection and suspension, it's not so easy to make something really new. It's hard days. But what I have to say is that since about 2 years, when Cozy came on the market,
yes.
So I really wondered how was the success, and I have to say that this is incredible. I can enter in details. I mean, technically, I would love to explain a few things here.
Yes, of course.
That. Because if you want me to show all our range, I mean, we need a wide angle and take hours to in detail.
Understood.
So the ratio between the size of the company and the quantity of reference is incredible. So let me just focus on some aspects of these very little things here.
Please.
Yes, I mean, because everyone, I think many people knows our piano, pianissimo, and maybe the Albert. We can talk about the Albert, which is here a bit. But the real thing that people has to understand about this kind of thing is that if you look at the size, it's quite small.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a real windshield. I mean, I will show you an empty cage. we could the fact is that it is exactly in the middle between a suspension and a windshield. I mean, because it's a windshield with integrated isolators externally. So this idea now is patented. So hard days also for that. But that's a real new technique where, let me show you, I mean, many people understand that, but simplicity of use. You just put your microphone there, and then you're ready, and you have a full windshield. It's a real windshield. It's not just a what I call a fairy screen. All manufacturers make fairy screens, but
Hmm.
this is a real cage.
What makes it a real windscreen?
Because it's a real cage that fully surrounds the microphone.
And why is
So
that important?
it's just because the most important principle in windshields, I'm talking about directive microphones, cardioid, hypercardioids, and small shotguns. It's the main criteria on wind protection is you have to fully surround the microphone just to protect all parts, and especially, of course, all the acoustic part of the microphone. But if you surround it completely with a air gap, real air gap between the acoustic section and the rest of the body, then you have the best rule to make the right windshield. So that's the rule of bigger windshield, like our pianissimo. But this rule is kept. I can show you, you know, we can see the microphone there, and it is
Hmm.
really uh, enclosed with an air gap, control air gap, constant air gap all around the acoustic section. That makes the real thing. So, just to be simple, if you compare it to other furry windscreen, that kind of size, this has nothing comparable. I mean, the efficiency is really interesting. But of course, it cannot compete with larger baskets like pianissimo. But
No.
in 80% of the case, it's really okay.
And what you get with that in your hand is incredible lightweight. The weight to wind protection ratio is really amazing.
That's it. The ratio between size, efficiency, also suspension efficiency is really nice. The best I've ever had in units. Also simplicity, everything. I mean, the ratio, the compromise between all criteria is really nice.
Yes. Yes.
So we have declined that can interest people, for the 8060. The 8060.
Yes.
We have one. Oh no.
And is it fair to say that the more directional microphones are more challenging to give wind protection to?
Uh,
Like
the
a
more
shot.
challenging,
Hmm.
the more challenging is all these generations of microphones that I have here, which is the DPA, Sennheiser, and 8060. The challenge is when you have nothing at the back to hold it properly with a classical suspension.
Of course.
That's the more challenging, because if you need to respect the rule I told you, I mean the full surrounding cage all around, then if you respect that, you have just nothing to hold it.
Yes, and how do you handle that vibration and that kind of torque that happens?
Of course. So if you just have a very little length to hold your microphone, then it can wobble really easily, and so the compromise will never be correct. So with this new principle, you have this suspension elements here, so that's just outside the cage.
Of
So
course, of
what
course.
made me mad initially in trying to design things, it's the main question is came at the early days is that we cannot take out the fur. We cannot change the fur, to have no fur or one fur. Everyone has this habit just to put an over fur, just like you put a pullover. You
Hmm.
just if it's cold, you just put something, and if it's more hot, then you take it off. So with this principle, you cannot. So that I had to deal with that idea when nothing was made, and saying yes, I am sure that I will have 10,000 questions. How can I remove the fur? And that's the case. So the question is simple. You cannot.
But on the other hand, by suspending the entire exterior element, you have a much more balanced suspension. You're not trying to just grab it at the end.
Yes, the key of this aspect is simplicity because you have just one pair of isolators for microphone and windshield. I mean, that's just a microphone. You have a microphone in front of you. The microphone is just protected and it has its own suspension.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
it. And you have everything with it. And you can be happy with 80% of the work.
Yeah, and I mean, for those that haven't experienced this product, the elegance is really what I love. Even just simply being able to swap microphones quickly because the male XLR is right, at the connection. It's really
Yes,
great.
you can just remove the holder just like that.
Yeah,
So
and I mean, this is not self-serving for either one of us, but I would have multiple suspensions and just be able to swap between them if I wanted to go from a short shotgun or a long shotgun. The elegance of having it all in one is really great.
yes, so you can, if you have different microphones with different diameters, just change the holder and you can be ready. And we have now five lengths. We have five lengths. I will not show you, but the max length, that's this one. That accepts the microphone up to 18 centimeter, like the Sanken CS1, or also the 8060 with the XLR. And we have two other solutions for the 8060 with their MZL connector and also including the MZF filter. We have a very nice option which is in this L cage, the long cage, and you can include the 8060 with the filter, but you have to use the MZL connector. That's a very nice solution.
Perfect. All right, so we're starting to see some comments and shout outs to people on Facebook. One question, can it protect from hot air coming from politicians?
Yes, yes, for sure. There will be an option.
Fantastic. I am dying to see your space. I
Of
mean,
course,
I'm happy to see whatever you have to show us, but please, we would be honored to have a tour with you.
of course. So we are just now in the middle of our just sewing workshop. So we have one of the main sewing machine here, and we have other machines here.
Hmm?
Like, oh, can you hear me?
I can. I'm going to mute myself so that the speaker doesn't kick
No,
in.
it's just that just I cannot see you anymore. So I don't know if you
Oh,
see me.
we can definitely hear you and definitely see you.
Where is it?
Oh, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
All
Oh,
right. Well, yeah. So I would
there's
say
it.
just
There is the sorry.
continue with your
So,
tour because
of
it looks
course,
amazing.
this is our welding machine. So it's not exactly a sewing machine. It's just to weld elements to our very nice fabric, black gray fabric. So we can, before sewing, we can cut and melt the plastic. So that's a different sewing option. So here is the main workshop. So let me present you this and look at that are assembly. So it's a like mask because uh,
Oh,
uh,
we've just lost your audio a little bit. I think it goes away
oh,
when you
okay.
point the
Can you hear
camera away.
me then?
Now we can, yes.
Okay, very good. So they wear masks just because we take precautions regarding the COVID, of course. And so the main assembling area. And so what you see here in the middle of this assembling area, we have just a isolated cabin to make our all our tests with microphones. With this,
Oh, we just lost you. We just lost you there.
oh, okay.
Now we
Can
can
you
hear
see
you.
me?
Yeah, and we can
Okay,
see.
very
There we
good.
go.
So this is
Oh, Philippe, I don't think it's working. I think whenever you point the camera away from your face, we lose your audio.
okay. Do you have the audio now?
Now we do, yeah. I think you have to talk
Okay.
right into the camera for us to hear you, unfortunately.
Okay, very good. So very small cabin just in the middle of the workshop where we can make constant tests with our ears, because our ears is the base of the work.
Hmm.
Okay, so I will show you something else. It's just, we are desperate to have a measurement room ready. So just a sneak peek of our new measurement room. If you can follow,
Absolutely.
just tell me if you can see me and hear me all the time.
Yes, and we can do that, and please be careful.
Okay, no, that's okay.
Good.
We are on the basement. You are under the ground now. So let's enter in that place. So can you hear me and see me?
Yes, we can.
Very good. So here is, I mean, that's not a real wide angle, but here is the room where you see this um, wind machine. It will not work today, but maybe. Oh, sorry. That's Can you see the wind machine?
Yes, it looks.
Down here.
Oh, wow! I
That's it.
understand. It spins around like a helicopter.
That's it. It's a 5 meter diameter, just rotating arm.
Yes.
And what we have here, that's an quite part of the room here, where this
Philip, we lost you. Sorry.
okay.
Yeah, you just have to point it at your face. I'm sorry.
No, can you hear me?
Yes, 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 yes.
Can you see me? Okay.
Yeah, oh, yes.
So you are in the background. Yeah, you have the anechoic section of the room.
Yeah, it looks incredible.
So this anechoic section will be used to make acoustic measurements on the highest frequencies, just because wavelengths is smaller, it's quite short. So we can contain the waves in just a quarter of the room and have very accurate measurements for the highest frequencies. And what is really, really new there, and we made that in a collaboration with the acoustic laboratory here in Paris, is that tube where you see one end here. It's a tube where there will be a big speaker here. Can you see it? Can you hear me?
Well, we can. We've lost your audio just a bit. Can you repeat that?
Crazy. Well, I'm
Yeah.
so close. So, as I said, this tube that you can see just behind me, this big tube, which is about 1 ton, and it's about 80 centimeter diameter, that's and 3 meter long. That will be used to make acoustic measurements for the very low frequencies, beginning at 15 hertz up to 300 hertz.
Uh-huh.
So, can you hear me? Can you see me?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
All the time. That's very good. So there will be here just a frame, a door when we will enter the big windshield inside there. And on each, as I said, on each side there is a big speaker here, where that produce a very low frequency sound.
Oh, I understand. So it's basically like a giant subwoofer.
It's two subwoofers on each side of this tube, and that. Let me now. I will just go out because
Sure.
so
Yeah.
did you have a look to this? And
Yeah,
so
that's
also
that's incredible. How fast does that rotor spin when it goes to speed?
we can go to 10 or 12 meters per second. But let me just now go back.
Sure, 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 sure.
Okay, so yes, we can go quite fast, but the problem is not there. When you make measurements on these, you do not need specifically very high speed because you can the main important thing is to compare systemic comparisons. And so what I have to say about that is if you look at all the units on the market, have you ever seen a unit where you can know the real wind efficiency and also the acoustic efficiency of the wind screen or windshield? No, never. So my aim is to produce some of these, measurements where you could compare things acoustically and also on the wind aspects, like a pair. You cannot separate the wind efficiency and the acoustic efficiency. You have to present them as a balanced.
Yes, and is that because if you are only interested in wind, then you will have a negative effect on the acoustic efficiency? So you have
Uh,
to look at them in total.
just to be simple, if you take for a single volume, I mean, just choose a size, and then you can have for the same size, you can have more wind efficiency and less acoustic transparency, or you can have more acoustic transparency and less wind efficiency. You have to make a choice and to make the balance of this. So the aim of all these products is then we will produce these measurements and say people, what do you prefer? Acoustic, wind, size, simplicity, weight, and things like that.
Amazing. All right, we have some questions piling up, and I just want to get to them on the Facebook. Yes, Chris Harris says you need a boom operator. That is true. um,
I'm sorry, yes, it's
no,
just
it's
like
good. It's all good. And there was one that I can't find. Okay, here we go. Question for Cinela. Do new suspensions and mounts come with the digital filter circuits inside the cables? Um, it-
no, it's not possible. It's a challenge to make a good filter. If we talk about filters, we have this experience of this LC60 from shops.
mm-hmm.
And this was really the first. And the challenge is that you have to manage very low levels, medium impedance, and you have to manage 48 volts and very low noise. So that's a challenge in a single tube. And also, you have some microphone that integrates such low cuts, like the Mini CMIT or also the DPA, the 1417B. You have some microphones with integrated filters. So if you add all the time an inline filters, then that can not work, just simply not work.
Right, right. Um, Oliver, my dream will be a smaller Zephyx MS system for my Sheps CCM 41, CCM 8.
Yes, we can talk about that. I have this in front of me. What do you
Uh-huh.
think of it? Let me.
Oh, wow.
Uh, it's just for Facebook. So that's just a holder for these kind of things. And what can we do with that? We can integrate that in a COSI,
Amazing.
but it has to be permanently integrated in the cage. So we just offer that for friends or proximate people. It's impossible to make a real catalog work. But why do I talk about that today? It's just because the idea you have heard, of course, of this new CMC1 from Sherps
Mm-hmm.
is so the idea would be to make a version for two CMC1 in MS.
Huh. Huh.
That's the new product that does not exist.
Yes, yes.
Yet,
That's exciting. No, and that would be incredibly, incredibly light and
of
yeah,
course,
very small.
immediately camera. You can put it on a camera very simply. All the cozy advantages, and there is a huge demand for that for MS solution systems, small and light.
Amazing. Chris Harris is specifically asking about RFI. Chris, I'm sorry, I misread your question. RFI blocking filters akin to what's included in the A10 boom cable.
Ah, sorry. Oh, you were talking about the RF.
I misread his question. Yeah, sorry.
Oh, okay. Yes, we begin to enter in that world. It's a world because all these new digital transmitters are really noisy and I would say dirty. Sorry for all the transmitter manufacturers, but they perfectly know they are
Oh yeah.
dirty and they can create some interference. And it's not their advantage to make such a dirt signals, but we have to find all this solution in between accessory like us manufacturer because of cables, all the proximity with the microphones and transmitters, boom. So this is also our main concern. We begin to integrate some RF filters. We can do it in Siri. We have an option in the catalog. It is not proved that it will work 100% of time. It's just a story, this RF shielding
Yeah,
situation.
and each manufacturer is a little bit different as well. Each
Of course,
wireless manufacturer.
of course, they create different troubles, so we have to see that. But we begin to do that. I just made some new cable, but the result is not good. Not because of RF, not because of anything. It's just because it creates some mechanical noises,
Uh-huh.
noise like that. So
Yeah.
it's perfectly shielded. The RF filter is perfect, but this creates what when you shake a little your boom, when you move, when the microphone is wobbling like that, it can create some noise. So
Acoustic
we,
noise.
yeah, mechanical noise,
Mechanical, yeah.
vibration noise.
Hmm.
So we are entering in that story, and then this is just the beginning.
Um, Amazing. I have to say this has been a true honor and a real pleasure to talk to you, and thank you for taking us on the tour. I'm just going to give a couple of seconds to see if there's any comments that or questions that pop up. But really, I'm very happy that we got to speak and do this. This is really has been a thrill. Um, all right. Thank you. I'm going to say goodbye to everybody, and so hang on one second. We'll be back at noon, and we'll thank you for watching. And Philippe, stay safe and healthy, and we'll see everybody real soon. Thanks for watching, everybody.
And good luck for New York.
Thank you, and good luck for Paris.